Hi everyone, and welcome to I think it's my 13th stream now. So Azure Greg here, and tonight I am joined by a man who I've never spoken to, so I'm really looking forward to speaking to Nemanja Jovic, who's from Serbia, but he's now living in the Netherlands. I'm just going to call you Neo for short. Neo, how are you? Nice to chat to you.
Hi, Greg. Thanks for the invite.
You're very welcome.
Glad to join your podcast.
Thanks for joining. I'm good. How are you?
Doing good. I was running a podcast last year, so I stopped because of my own reasons. But it's cool to join the podcast, at least to talk about a little bit.
Definitely. So I don't really know yourself, so I'm really looking forward to getting to know you and asking you lots of questions about your career and kind of things you get up to. So just before we came on, I was kind of asking you what you wanted to chat about. So you want to do a free format and talk about lots of things. So that sounds good to me. So let's start off with ChatGPT, because everyone seems to be talking about ChatGPT. Are you using it yourself?
Yeah, I've been. It's quite useful tool for depends how creative you are. You can go far. Let's say. I have been using it to assist myself at work, but also in the private manners with some creative ideas. For example, I'm building now the summarizer for the Twitter news.
Oh, nice.
To have a chat GPT basically summarizing the feed of the last 1 hour.
Oh, that's cool.
And then sending that through, text to speech on one of the speakers in the house.
Oh, wow, that's clever.
Yeah. Every 1 hour you get basically latest news from Twitter.
That's a great idea. Yeah, I like it. So tell me about the technology you're using. Are you doing that? What language are you writing that in?
I'm the most proficient in PowerShell. So whatever I'm building, I'm writing in PowerShell. I'm not old school developer. I'm a DevOps guy. I didn't go to university, so I don't know a lot about the algorithms and everything that comes in the software development, but I can still write programs.
Yeah. Well, PowerShell's good for that. I love PowerShell. Yeah, PowerShell's good. Yeah, I've got a developer background, but I don't know the algorithms, so you're in good company. So you're using PowerShell to call the ChatGPT APIs, or talk me through how you're doing that.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, it's fairly simple, right? Documentation of the API is public.
Yeah.
You can check how to make the request. Pretty much, I think there are examples for Bash. Using the curl, but convert that easily to exactly.
Are you using ChatGPT to convert the Bash to PowerShell?
No. So I'm using the ChatGPT in this case for this scenario to I send the feed of the news of the last 1 hour, like who is the author and what did he tweeted about. And then you get the short version from the ChatGPT. Hey, in the last 1 hour, this happened.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's good. That's a nice little side project. Yeah. What other side projects are you working
on? Yeah, I mean, I was using it quite a lot for fun, and I like AutoGPT. Have you know about it?
No, I've not tried that. What's that?
You don't know about AutoGPT? Okay, that's actually the project on GitHub at the moment that has the biggest number of stars.
Okay.
And
sounds like I need to check it out right now.
Yeah, you should check it out. It's an autonomous AI system which has basically machine learning or the brain running at your computer that can make decisions.
Oh, wow.
And it can call the chat GPT for you. So basically you can say, okay, I wanna write the introduction for the podcast based on the research of the top podcasters, Joe Rogan, whatever.
Yeah.
And this brain running on your computer is capable of using your browser. Like it can open the Google Chrome and go googling.
Oh,
And
really?
yes,
Wow,
and
that's cool.
it collects data, and then when it needs to do a calculation to think, it can call ChatGPT basically.
Oh, I definitely need to check this out.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you're on and you've told me about this because I haven't seen this yet and I need to try it.
Yep. You should try it, definitely. You can run it also in the containers or
Yeah,
in the
let me
pipelines. Yeah.
put this into chat just so people can read about it.
Yes.
That's very cool. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that.
When the AI exploded, I thought maybe it would be a good idea just to follow the like best AI people on LinkedIn.
Good idea.
Yeah.
No.
So because I have LinkedIn Premium, I was able to find a lot of great people and sources, and yeah, I like to read those news.
Yeah, no, that's a great idea. That's a very good idea. Yeah. So are you paying for ChatGPT or are you just using the kind of free version?
So there are two ways to pay for ChatGPT. Actually, first way is to have premium access to the web portal where you can have web interface for ChatGPT, and you can pay for the API calls,
Right. Okay.
which are priced completely differently than a web UI, basically.
And do you pay for the API calls? I take it.
I pay for both.
Uh, and how much are the API calls? Because I've not actually looked into this yet. Is it quite
API
expensive?
calls no, it's actually super cheap. I don't know.
Right.
I
Okay.
I use it not so heavily, but like I pay $1-2 a month.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really good. Yeah, I mean, I purchased ChatGPT because I find myself on calls with customers asking all sorts of questions. And I'm like, I don't know everything, so I'm like, quickly type the question into ChatGPT while I'm on the call, and it's half the time it knows, and half the time it's not up to date, so that's fine. But yeah, I must admit, I do use ChatGPT a lot, an awful lot. Yeah,
Yeah, I
I need
mean, it's a good way to streamline your day in any way,
hmm
if you need
without
a
doubt,
good answer. Yeah.
without doubt. Yeah, when I show people. Even writing the outline for blog posts and stuff like that, you can just say, write me the outline for 5 blog posts on this suggestion, and it'll go away and write 5 blog post outlines. It's fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm completely in favor of using AI
hmm
because why would I waste the time? I don't know if I need to perform something and I know what I want and what would be the outcome. Why I cannot just think about the outcome and I get it?
Yes, exactly.
Right? That's
hmm
how I see it.
No, I agree. I would agree with that 100%. Are you using OpenAI at all from Microsoft?
Well, I checked it also when it was just in preview.
hmm
Um, so yeah, it's a great service, and I see that they are moving now to like cognitive. I'm not sure actually.
The
Uh,
cognitive services stuff.
yeah, I'm not sure actually. But it might be that now a lot of services might become the OpenAI services. I
Yeah,
think Microsoft is going to merge them.
yeah, I think they are. Yeah,
Yeah,
that'll be interesting.
yeah,
Have you
might be.
seen Have you seen it in Windows 11 at all? The Chat
Sorry.
GPT. Have you seen like the OpenAI Chat GPT thing inside Windows 11? They're going to bring that to the operating system.
Yeah, that would be great. I
Yeah,
saw the news. Yeah, I saw the
yeah.
news.
Seen a small demo of it. It does look pretty cool. So you're an MVP in Microsoft Azure, is that right?
Yep, this is my first year that I got
Ah,
the award. Uh,
awesome! Congratulations. How
Thank
did
you.
it feel to be? What month did you get that in?
Sorry, what did you ask me?
Which month did you become an MVP? Was it this year?
Um, yeah, this year I became the MVP actually in October 2022, so
Ah,
early,
nice.
but I'm awarded for 223 basically.
Ah, perfect. Awesome.
Yeah.
Good, good, good. So, what kind of things did you do to become an MVP? What were your contributions?
I run the meetups in Amsterdam.
Oh, cool. Oh, yeah, the DevOps ones.
Yep. That I also had the podcast, had conferences.
Oh, you do public speaking?
Yeah, I do public speaking for, well, I do it already for 4 or 5 years, like
Oh,
public
nice.
speaking. So yeah, I spoke on DevOps days in Amsterdam
Saw
once.
that. Yeah.
Well, on some also bigger conferences, but when I have time, you know,
Yeah,
when,
no, I know the feeling.
because it takes time. I
It
like to
does.
do it. I'm not sure actually if I'm gonna continue to be the MVP for the next year.
Okay.
It's for some private reasons. I'm planning to relocate to another country
Okay.
soon, and I need to arrange a lot of stuff. And
Yeah, so you've been busy doing that.
yeah, and I have been working a lot last few years, like quite hard.
Crazy.
Yeah, so maybe I just want to give myself a break
Yeah,
for.
okay, I get that. Yeah, I understand. So I also see you're an MCT.
Yeah, I'm CTO almost for 5 years now.
Oh, nice. That's
Yeah.
pretty cool. So do you do trainings as well? What sort of training stuff do you do?
Well, if some of the companies or individuals watch us, I hope so. I do training for both companies and individuals, basically,
Oh, nice.
around Microsoft Azure. So I do Azure Fundamentals, Azure
Hmm.
Administrator, networking, security, architecture, and that's pretty much it.
That's quite a big range, though. That's quite impressive range to do courses on.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. And do
Thank
you
you.
enjoy doing that kind of training?
It depends. It depends on the audience. Sometimes
Okay.
people come to the training and they challenge you a lot, but
Uh-huh.
as you know, people sometimes come to sleep on a training as well.
Yeah, the one a day off work type thing. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
A jolly.
So
We call that a jolly in the UK. People come for a jolly just so they can get away from work for 12 hours or 4 hours or whatever.
no,
Do
I
you
mean
like?
I like what they do, and I like to teach also something that I don't know, but I think I can learn. So it how got how I got to teach all these courses. Well, I started with Azure Fundamentals, and then they ask you, well, would you like to teach maybe a better course? Well, then you
Yep.
commit yourself. You go to the library and you study. You know,
Is that what you do? You go to the library and study, or do you do it just?
actually, I go to library to study
Oh,
often.
that's cool.
Yeah.
Just put headphones on the laptop, or do you talk about
Yeah,
reading books?
I like to get out of the house, be surrounded by people, and in library everyone are there to be concentrated, and it's for
Oh,
me
that's a
it's a
good
place
point.
to be. It's nice. Yeah.
So, how do you go about? I take it you go to the library if you've to learn a new course that you're not entirely sure you know all of the stuff. So, if you're doing a new course that you've never taught, do you just go to the library and try and read as much as you can on the subject?
Um. So yeah, how I do it, because I don't know. I had quite a lot of experience before doing the Azure
Hmm.
in building private clouds.
Right,
So cloud for me is easier than
straightforward.
what I have done before, to be honest.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. And
What's
sorry,
what what's the area that you struggle in Azure the most, or do you think you're proficient throughout?
I like all areas of Azure pretty much. Yeah, I have expertise on some areas more, on some less, but I
Yeah,
know
that's not.
quite some, and they're releasing great services. I mean, it's really fun to play with them.
Yeah, there's lots of good stuff coming out and we've been out. So you're a DevOps and security consultant, is that right?
Well, I do kind of DevOps full stack. If you look from that perspective, I do automation, I do DevOps, I do DevSecOps, do
Mhm.
networking systems. I know about the servers a lot, both Linux, Windows.
What's your favorite thing to do? Is it DevOps?
My favorite thing to do, I like event-driven architectures.
Oh, nice.
They're funny. Um,
Funny.
yeah, they're kind of funny in what they let you build. So
Okay.
I like that's a total automation, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
And I like event grid. I like
Oh, yeah.
functions. Yeah,
Functions, yeah.
yeah.
I'm a big fan of Azure Functions. Yeah.
They're really great indeed.
I haven't really done much with Event Grid, to be honest, and everyone says it's amazing, but I haven't actually implemented it for a single project yet. I must be doing something wrong.
Yeah, maybe I can tell something that I built.
Please do. Yeah.
For example, I have built the following. So if we have been storing the certificates in a key vault, right, for
Yeah.
different purposes, and if you purchased the certificate at Verizon or whatever, right, it's gonna expire in the certain period of time.
And you don't know when. Yeah.
You don't know when. So in the Key Vault supports the certain types of events that it can generate, and one of them is, for example, the expiry event
of the certificate
of any entity, basically.
Right. Secrets as well. Yeah. Okay.
So what happens is that, for example, your certificate is about to expire, and first time it's gonna create the event, it's gonna be 30 days upfront, I think.
Yeah.
And the basically message that it's gonna generate has the schema. So there is a predefined event grid schema. So it's gonna generate event, and then what you get is like the message that is describing the event, what happened. In this case, would be expiry event of the certificate X, resource ID, etc., etc. And then you can route those messages to the endpoint, basically.
Yeah.
So if you use the Azure function as the endpoint, you can have the automation that can, decide.
Do whatever you want.
Do whatever you want, basically. Yeah.
Okay. So that's something that we don't really do at Intercept, but we could probably use that to do the exact same thing. Send the event to the event grid and then create a ticket in our ticketing system to say this certificate's going to expire in 30 days. Okay. Yeah. It's something I do need to look at. Yeah. Something I've not spent a lot of time looking at. Yeah, that kind of functionality is really cool. Have you done anything with durable functions? Have you looked at that at all?
To be honest, I did study them on my own. And I know how it works. Like you have the orchestrator that can call different functions and wait for them to finish, etc. Something like that, right?
Yeah, no, that's exactly that. Yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't have them in production myself. Never.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So, I did see on LinkedIn you were creating an educational campaign. What was that? I didn't quite understand what that was. Tell us a little bit about that.
So yeah, it's I started very good, but now I'm a bit on a pause. So this year is a bit hectic for me when it comes to the private life. So I'm giving just my best as possible. So yeah, my plan is to deliver some educational content related to Azure. So I dropped one post about the Azure network security, where you can basically read about the services in Azure and how to secure them. What are the best practices, like about the Azure firewall and some other network stuff.
Yeah, I saw you wrote quite a big article on that. I saw that. That looked really interesting. Was it 50 pages or something on networking?
Yep, I think I had one duplicate page actually. So I realized when I posted and had already like 40 likes. Oh crap! I don't want to delete it now.
Yeah, don't delete it.
Never mind.
So how did you create that? Was that just a PDF, or what was that made out
of? I have my own designer actually.
All right, cool.
Yeah, it's a friend of mine that works with me, and he's designing. Well, starting from my CV to all my public speaking presentations, other stuff. He's
portfolio.
x3branding.com.
Nice.
No, he's very good. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean that was really cool. So you're also doing a book from Pact Publishing. Tell us a little bit about
Yes, I'm writing a book about the Azure DevOps. The book is already released. There is a version one. It's called
that.
Azure DevOps Explained, but they're working on the version two at the moment.
Cool. How do you find writing books? A lot of work, or
Yeah, I read books. Lately, not that much about IT, but I read books.
what's it
I,
like writing a book? Did it take you a long time to write volume one?
I didn't write the volume one actually. I was
Or did
not.
you not?
No, no, I
You're
was
doing
not the
two.
author of the volume one. Yeah,
Right.
this is my first book.
And how long has it taken you to do that?
Uh, I'm actually surprised it's going well. So yeah, I'm taking the guidelines of from Pact that they have for their own authors,
Yeah.
and I'm using some online references, obviously, because I wanted to look professional. Using Grammarly Premium to
Oh
make sure
yeah,
my grammar is correct and
yeah.
everything fancy that I can have. So yeah, it's and plus my English is great, but it's not native.
Yes.
That's another reason to use the good tools, right?
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. And are you
Yeah.
enjoying doing it, or is it hard work?
Well, so far so good. It's not too difficult when you have the idea.
Yes. Yes.
If I would be needing to write about some concepts that I don't know so much about, then it would be hard. But
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
why I'm as the author, basically.
Yeah.
It's going good. It's going
Good.
nice. I delivered 2 chapters already, so working on a third one at the
Okay.
moment.
And when do you need to have that all done by?
We are planning to release it. Well, I'm not sure actually exactly when, but somewhere next year it should be there.
What's your thoughts on Azure DevOps compared to GitHub? What do you prefer and why? Do you use both day to day or?
Mm, so yeah, funny story. At the moment, I'm looking for a new job, right?
Okay.
And
Contract. Contract.
yeah, I'm looking for a contract job indeed,
Yeah.
specifically remote.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm looking for a job, and I'm in a third round of the interviews with one of the companies, and
Okay.
they're using extensively GitHub. They're a GitHub partner and Microsoft partner.
Right.
So I haven't worked with GitHub that much, just some proof of concepts for myself
Yeah.
in the free time, but haven't run it in a production for the company so far. But it's
Okay.
pretty much the same as Azure
Yeah,
DevOps.
it's fairly similar. Yeah, if you've done YAML pipelines, which I imagine you must have done in your background, it's pretty similar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. I mean, the concept is the same. You just want to be the modular as possible, and
Yeah. Same.
yeah,
Yeah, you've got all the ground rules. You understand how it works. It should be pretty straightforward for you. Yeah. There's actually one of my pals works at GitHub, and he wrote an Azure DevOps YAML converter to GitHub Actions, and it's very similar. So yeah, you'll pick that up, no problem.
yeah.
Well, good luck with interviews.
Thank you. I think yeah, this Wednesday after work, I have a
Ah,
last round, which is going to be technical. I'm looking forward to be tested.
quite good. Good, good. Maybe we should quiz you. We should ask in the chat some Azure, sorry, GitHub questions. Just see how you going. I was going to ask you about. You mentioned that you do Microsoft CLX. Tell people who's listening what that is and why they might be interested in it.
Sure. So there is a program called Microsoft Connected Learning Experience, or Microsoft CLX.
Yeah, I'll put it in the
Um,
chat. Yeah.
yeah, it's a program that helps individuals learn Azure basically. And what you can do is to sign up for one of the courses that you're interested in. For
Mm-hmm.
example, AZ900 or whatever. I must say that not all the courses are available at the time, and I'm going
Yeah,
to
yeah.
explain that later on.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens is that you get basically tested against your knowledge for this exam that you have already. And the platform tells you what are your weak spots.
Oh, nice.
Basically, they tell you where you should prepare more, and they
Oh,
give
that's
you a
awesome.
reference to the Microsoft modules to learn that, basically. And then the next step, you will attend for free the cram session on the exam,
Okay.
basically, that is led by the instructor, and it's like depends 2 3 4 hours depending
Mm-hmm.
on the content. And after that you have a test on the CLX platform to like prove your knowledge, and if you pass with I think more than 75%, you get the free exam voucher.
Oh, that's amazing. And can anyone sign up for this?
Yes.
Is it limited to numbers, or anyone can basically do this?
Yeah, anyone can
Oh,
sign up
okay.
for this,
I
basically.
wasn't aware. I kind of knew about it, but didn't really understand what it was. So you're teaching these courses, is that right?
Yeah, I teach these courses now for like 9 months. For basically, it's for the Microsoft.
Nice.
That's their program in collaboration with Spectra Systems. It's yeah, they're basically two companies facilitating this.
Cool. That's awesome. I need to, yeah. So you have to sing interesting. I need to let everybody at work know about that. Yeah, I wasn't really sure. I kind of knew it was training, but I didn't realize you had to do a test and then potentially do that. So I'm
Yeah,
doing quite a lot of training at work, at work. So I'll definitely let people know about that.
yeah, you can I think contact them directly. There might be the form on the website. Or if you want, ask me for a reference after the podcast.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah. So are you enjoying doing that kind of teaching?
Uh, okay, so I will be very transparent. I teach courses for a long time, almost 5 years, and
Mm-hmm.
I do my work because I like it, and I do it because of the money, right?
Right.
As
Okay.
that's why we do work.
Yeah,
Otherwise, no
that's why
one.
we're all working.
Yes.
Yeah.
Um, so for me, the session is enjoyable depending on what I'm teaching and
Uh-huh.
how cool are the questions
Right.
from
Aye.
the people who are attending the course, right?
So you want people to be engaged and ask interesting
That
questions.
that would be the best. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I've done some workshops like that where people are on their phone and they're not really tuned in, and it's a little bit disrespectful and a little bit not the best. But yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, but I'm basically starting now to work for myself. That's
Cool.
why I'm looking for a contract job,
Mm-hmm.
and I might be forming some kind of academy or some alternate business in
Okay.
that direction as well. Because I have a lot of personal experience and I've worked with many companies so far.
Sounds like you've got a lot of experience in that area. Yeah.
Yep, would be interesting also. I like working with people. It's nice.
Yeah. Me too. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll work for a Dutch company, and the Dutch people are really nice. So yeah, I really like working with these kind of people. Okay.
yeah.
Um.
Well, people in general are nice.
Yeah. Totally. Totally. Not just the Dutch. Not just the Dutch. So you say you've got like a track record of public speaking. What sort of things do you like speaking about, and what events have you spoken at?
Well, I like speaking about everything pretty much. If I'm a subject matter expert on something, then it's
Hmm.
fun to tell. If I'm not expert, well, I can teach a course even if I don't know in depth the
Yeah.
technology,
Yeah.
but to go and maybe tell it on the conference might be might be different because
Mm.
during the course it's okay not to know everything. You can
Yeah.
always open the web page and look up with your students and
Yeah.
say,
Yeah.
well,
You
you
don't know.
got
I'll
to
find it.
prepared, it's normal. But on the
Yeah.
conference, you should be fully prepared, right?
Yeah. I agree. I agree. Definitely. Definitely. Yeah, that's a good point. So, what's your favourite? So, I see you've got. I was just reading your bio, and you're basically saying that you're an expert knowledge of cloud automation, on-prem technologies, custom frameworks. What sort of custom frameworks have you been using recently?
Yeah, I
Good
have
question.
been building some custom frameworks like
Oh, have you?
yep. For example, I don't know how many people are using Azure DevOps listening to us, but I guess a lot because it's
Mhm.
Azure related podcast. Have you been using variable groups in Azure DevOps?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, there are few downfalls of the variable groups. Like for example, it doesn't have version control, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if you turn it on, for example, to have secrets, right? Then if you have secrets, you need to link them from a key vault, and that you cannot have plain text
Mm-hmm.
variables anymore, right?
Yeah.
Then,
Yeah.
and on top of my mind, because I know you cannot reference the version in the key vault that you want, it's always the latest.
Mm-hmm. It's always latest. Yes.
Yeah. So I built actually the framework where you can, based on the schema, define in the JSON the variable group in your repository,
Okay.
and basically you can reference the version in the key vault that you want of the secret, or you can reference the latest.
Mm-hmm.
And then I take this JSON content and I deploy it to Azure DevOps library.
Okay.
So when you want a new variable, you need to write in the repository, and
You just fix it up.
and then in the portal you restrict access to everyone. Basically, you can see
Right.
only in the repository. So that's like one of the custom frameworks I
No, that's
built.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
What did you write that in?
Why did we do it? That's
No,
or
no. What did? Sorry. What language did you write that in?
that was combination of YAML and PowerShell, pretty
Okay.
much. Yeah.
Okay. So, what are you going to do between now and Wednesday to try and study for your exam? If your questions on GitHub, have you got any ideas what you might have to learn?
um, yeah, that's a good question. So because I'm looking now for a new job,
Mm-hmm.
I I will start my next learning depending of the direction of my career,
Oh yeah.
basically.
Okay.
So I will see what kind of projects are coming to me, and yeah, then I'm gonna choose, because I learned through the career that sometimes you might be learning about technology. It's cool. You're gonna know
Mm-hmm.
the concepts, etc. But if you're never gonna touch it,
That's it. Yeah.
what's the value, right? Pretty
Yeah. No.
much.
Totally. Totally. Yeah. You have to be careful about what you learn these days because it's really difficult to keep up to speed on everything. Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite difficult. But with all these tools today, even like the most complex issues or concepts, you can just translate them to baby words.
Yeah, yeah, that's the thing. If you've got obviously you've got a lot of experience in DevOps and the way things work, so you'll be able to figure it out. Yeah. Have you done anything with Kubernetes or anything like that? Done any AKS stuff?
Yeah, that's sad story. I don't know much about Kubernetes.
Okay, you're in good company. Neither do I, so that's fine.
Yep, yep.
um,
It's a very hot story, but I'm not the expert because I didn't have chance to run it, basically.
okay, that's fair enough. That's fair enough.
Would be nice to learn. It's a combination of everything that we had traditionally as IT admins, and now in the cloud, just in one giant orchestrator.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. What
It's a live system of everything, basically.
What about contributions to open source? Have you ever done any of that kind of thing?
Well, I do have some of my projects on GitHub.
Okay,
Like there is a Key Vault monitoring framework.
okay.
I think I mentioned to you
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah.
before the podcast. So on GitHub, you can actually find a framework that can monitor your key vaults for the expiry of the secrets and the certificates using the event grid and the Azure functions, using PowerShell. So that I have some bicep versioning framework, some draft
Okay.
that can version your committed templates using the Git version and then deploy them to container registry, so you don't have to worry about the version itself.
Okay. Yeah, I do a lot. Do you do a lot of bicep yourself? Do you write a lot of bicep?
Pretty much, yeah. I'm writing about bicep now in this book that
Okay.
we're preparing. Yeah, there is.
What's your thoughts on bicep? Do you like working with it?
Yeah, I like bicep. It's pretty good. It's very simplified, and the ARM templates that we use.
Yeah. Yeah, it's much nicer than ARM templates, that's for sure. What else do you do outside of work? What other stuff do you do? Have you got any like music interests or hobbies, or what sort of stuff do you do?
Yeah, I make actually music.
Oh, you make music.
Yeah, I make music. I went to music production school
Oh, nice.
for a year and a half. It was like 2 years ago. Well, it was my kind of a childhood dream, but yeah, my parents didn't have money to send me to music school.
Oh,
And yeah, when I made it myself, then I was like, okay, now I can do it. Why not?
oh, that's awesome.
Yep. So yeah, that's my hobby. It's
What sort of music do you make? I'm not musical at all, so I'll probably ask really crap questions. But what sort of music do you make?
I make trance. Actually, it's like
Trance. That's my kind of music. I'm into trance. So now we're talking the same language. I
I
like
like
it.
I like electronic music.
Okay.
It's pretty cool, and if you're IT guy, you would enjoy making music because it's fun. You have bunch of devices that you can use to make sounds, basically.
So how many? So have you got I can't even say the word synthesizers and stuff like that.
Yeah, I have actually one at home. It's called Virus TI or Virus.
Okay.
Um, it's one old device.
Does the job.
Yeah, but it does a job. Basically, I have some friends that are also the producers, so I bought it because they knew how to teach me on that device.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Any plans to save up for something a bit newer in the long term?
Well, I'm working on like getting myself a new home
Mhm.
next year. I want to move to Spain. Now I'm in
Okay.
the Netherlands,
Nice.
and yeah, I want to live on the island. Uh,
Nice.
and I'm planning to get the house there.
Ah,
So
cool.
long-term project would be building a music studio as well in my basement.
Are you talking about Mallorca or what sort of island is it?
I'm planning to go to Tenerife. That's in
Okay,
Canary.
nice.
Yeah,
Ah, right, cool. Nice part of the world.
yeah. It's always summer
A little
there.
bit warmer than the Netherlands.
Well, completely different, I would say. Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
So you're into music, that's cool. Yeah. So once you move, do you think you'll eventually try and save up for some? Oh, my cameras went all blurry. Once you move, do you think you'll save up for some new synthesizers or something like that?
Well, I think once I moved, I will need to arrange a lot for life, and
Put that
that's
on
gonna
hold for a while.
that's gonna be primary. The synthesizers are gonna come later, you know.
Yeah, just work on
Yeah.
your suntan.
Yep. So
So
yeah, I'm looking now for a remote job so I can work from there. Because going to the office and you live on the island, it doesn't work.
not going to happen. Yeah.
Uh,
So you
and
said you're through to round 3 of an interview. Have you got other interviews lined up, or just that one?
well, honestly, I'm a bit surprised that companies are losing on a good talent because they want to see you in the office like 2-3
Yeah,
times
let's
a
talk
week.
about that. So you think? I mean, I agree. You think companies are losing out on good talent because they want people in the office? Is that what you're saying?
Yep, I'm seeing that. Me personally, I don't want to be forced to go to the office if I can do my work from home. It's okay to go on site, like I don't
Yeah.
know, for some really important stuff. But if we look back, it's maybe harsh to say, but the pandemic showed us different that you can actually
No,
work,
I agree. I
right?
agree. Yeah.
I didn't go to office for like 2 years, and now I need to go to the office. Why?
Yeah, exactly. So before the pandemic, I had a job where I was in the office full time, and then I got a job just as the pandemic finished, and now I'm remote full time. So I don't need to go into the office ever. I mean, I do travel to the office maybe 4 or 5 times a year. But
Yeah,
yeah, I don't need to go. I don't need to go in the office. I can still speak to customers on Teams like me and you are talking right now.
exactly.
But what I noticed is in Glasgow, especially, the bigger companies want more people back in because they're paying for the offices, and I think that's the main reason, because they're paying for all the offices and they want to have people in at least 2 days a week. That's what I see anyway.
Yep, I understand. But yeah, I need to criticize now a little bit.
Go for it.
So I think it's how I see this going to the office is control precaution method, basically.
Hmm.
The
Yeah,
side of the companies, they just want to make sure you're there, right? You're present, you're doing your
they're
job
productive.
pretty
Yeah,
much. And for some of the companies, to be honest, this is a good thing because not all teams are good,
yeah. No, I would agree. I would
and
agree.
they need to be in the office to be able to function. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's some teams are good and they don't need to see each other.
Yeah, I would agree. I think it's down to the team, to be honest with you. Yeah, yeah. I think I did see something from the guy at the top of Google basically saying he wants people in full time because he doesn't trust people are productive. I think that's a load of rubbish, personally. Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't agree with that.
yeah, pretty much. I agree with
I mean, I
you.
can sit here with my music on in a world of my own, just doing whatever I'm doing. But I'm still productive. I don't need to be in the office because sometimes when you go into the office, everybody's chatting and it's just more. It's less productive because everybody wants to have a chat and say hello.
True,
Yeah, yeah,
true. Especially
yeah.
now when you don't go to the office, you go to the office, and everyone want to see you, right? And to
Mhm, yeah.
chat. Yeah,
But what I noticed in Glasgow especially is all the big banking firms all built new offices in the middle of the pandemic. Well, obviously, just before the pandemic started, they started building all these beautiful new offices, and now they've got all these beautiful new offices, and they're asking people to come in 2 days a week minimum because they want to basically use them because they've paid for it. And I understand that, but yeah, I'll be honest. If I was looking for a new job, I don't think I would want to go into the office 5 days a week. In fact, I probably wouldn't take the job if somebody said that.
nope, nope,
No,
definitely not.
I like this is my first job working from home, and I love it.
Yep.
Yeah, I can
Well,
see why you want to do that.
yeah, I mean there are multiple angles to this. Companies still are adopting this kind of DevOps way of working,
Mhm.
agile versus waterfall, all those kind of fancy terms, but it's not it's not successful and easy everywhere. They
Definitely not.
definitely not, because it's uh, it's a different mindset. Um,
Mhm.
but I think with all these methodologies that came, and we started even over engineering it, like
Well, I can tell you. I'll tell you a funny story. I used to work at a bank, a big American bank in Glasgow, and we used to do sprints. So we moved from doing waterfall to agile, and about 6 months in, we would start the project. We would start the 2 week sprint. So we were doing 2 week sprints, and then at the end of the sprint, we would look at how much work we took in compared to how much we did, and we hardly got anything done. And then they decided. So they got us. This went on for months, right? And it was really funny. So the scrum master decided to give everybody a poker chip for every hour of the day. So you had 8 chips per day times 5 days. So you had 40 chips. And at the end of the table in the office, they put like tins of biscuit tins that you had to put the chips in. So it was like good meeting, bad meeting, doing sprint work, doing non-sprint work, and doing something else. So you had to put, basically the moral of the story was, after doing this for about 4 sprints, they realised that 78% of people's time wasn't doing what they were supposed to do, and it took them months to figure this out. And I was like, well, there's the reason why you're not getting any work done, because people were
exactly.
going to other, and everybody would like all 15 would go to a meeting, and 15 people wouldn't participate. There would be 12 people sitting not even listening, and it just got ridiculous. So these people were putting in chips into meetings that were unproductive or waste of time. And the long story short was 78% of the time wasn't on what they thought it was. It wasn't on sprint work. So there was the reason why no sprint work was getting done, and it was all this agile BS, as I call it, all the extra meetings that people were going to that they didn't need to go to. Plus, they were doing lots of other stuff,
Yep.
which was really interesting. But yeah, it took us a while to figure that out, but it was funny when they figured that out.
Well, I must say that I worked in one company here in the Netherlands with a really amazing team,
Mhm.
and we didn't have Scrum Master
Okay,
at all,
you
and
don't need
it
one.
was
Didn't think so.
nope, and it was because of the maturity of the team. There are
Mhm.
only, well, pretty much high-end engineers with
Yeah, yeah,
7, 8, 10 plus years of experience.
yeah,
And when you start explaining something, everyone are understanding you, right? You
yeah,
don't need to over-explain yourself and
yeah,
write things in depth in the user story or whatever.
yeah.
So you can just move fast, and then
Yes,
technical stuff is the fun part, right?
yes. You're spending 90% of your time doing that, and then 10% doing the rest. Yeah,
Yeah. To be honest, if I need to spend a lot of time writing, you
yeah.
know, I
Definition of done and definition of ready and all the other stuff that goes on. Yeah,
yeah, I'm losing my
will to live.
motivation. Yeah, my
Yes.
motivation also. Um, just today, I had a very long discussion about the user story format.
Yeah. And how did that go?
Well, it went well. I think there are few crucial aspects to it. So, for you to be able to do the work, it's the background. So, why are we doing this?
Yeah,
Requirements. And the acceptance criteria, right?
yeah, yeah.
And maybe the approach, like for the guidance. Okay, we should use this technology, and if you're a senior engineer crafting the user story, then pay attention to this. This might be troublesome if you work with that already,
Yep.
but not explaining exactly how you're going to do it, right? Because
Mhm.
that doesn't
Yeah,
make
yeah,
sense. You're going
yeah,
to start programming and figure out what's on the go.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's like the definition of ready. That user story is ready if you can tick all those boxes.
Yeah, pretty much, I would say. Yeah.
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 So when I was at this bank in Glasgow, it took them 3 years to go from no agile to being half decent at it. I would suggest three full years. We had about four different scrum masters, and I would say that the first three scrum masters, I'm probably doing somebody a disservice here, but they didn't really know what they were doing, and the fourth person came along and changed it all, and it just started working, and everybody got it. But I think by then, the people on the team who were inexperienced in Agile were more experienced in it as well. So it did take a wee while. Because some people
Yeah.
were like, "What's a sprint?" You know, it's like when you start off and it's like, "What's a sprint? What's Agile?" And all this. It's quite a lot to explain to people.
No, but look, the first that person who comes as a scrum master, when the job as a position became popular, there is a guy who is running the ice cream shop, and then he becomes a scrum master, right? For
Mm.
example, and he comes in a team where there are like all kind of engineers or
Yep.
developers, whatever, and then you need to organize it, and you don't know the background, so yeah, it's
I always think common sense should rule. You know what I mean? It should be common sense at the end of the day.
yeah,
I
of
see a
course.
lot of I see a lot of
Yeah,
stuff that just doesn't make sense.
I
Yeah.
think I think the work. So there are two parts of it. There is a business value, right, of that
Hmm.
work that comes in the big corporations from the top,
Yeah.
um, and there are engineers that are executing actually the parts of it. I think that vision should be transformed into the technology, and then there is a gap between explaining how to do it.
Yeah.
That's the biggest problem at the end in the agile.
Yeah. Yeah. I always think having a sprint zero is a good idea where you kind of do a dummy run of a sprint, maybe even a week long sprint zero, where you just get everybody up to speed with like how it should work, not how it does work, but how it should flow. You know,
Yeah.
things like set up a dummy sprint and do some work and then see it going all the way along the steps and stuff like that. Yeah, I always thought that was a good idea. If you start without that, I think you're going to struggle.
Yeah, dry run.
Yeah, kind of dry run. Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad idea. So Neil, what's your favourite places to travel? We'll wrap up in a little bit, but where would you go on holiday apart from Spain if you had a choice to go somewhere on holiday?
I like to travel a lot. I traveled a lot, pretty much. I like Asia.
Okay, where have you been in Asia?
Thailand only
Oh, nice.
actually, but I
Okay.
stayed there a month or so,
Oh,
so
nice.
saw the almost the whole country.
Uh-huh.
I like it pretty much. It's good. I like South America as well, but it's quite dangerous.
South America. Where have you been there? You've been in Brazil and
I mean,
Argentina.
there are some places that are very different than Asia. In
I
Asia,
can imagine.
yeah,
I can
I
imagine.
mean, they're also military regulated uh,
Yeah,
areas there, but yeah,
that's
I
true.
usually consult the internet before I go anywhere.
Cool. So, if you're still an MVP in a year's time, do you think you'll get to go? Do you think you would go to the MVP summit in Seattle? Is that something you would do?
I don't know. Actually, I need to see. At the moment, like as I told you, I'm planning some relocation and new job.
Everything's
And
on hold till you move. Yeah,
yeah, I wanted to settle up in a new location, and then I will see what I will do.
good
That's
plan. Good plan.
yeah. Life is quite important, right? So
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Cool, cool. What else was I going to ask you? Let's see. I've got a list of questions I was going to hear. What sort of Azure security stuff have you been doing?
sorry, can you say it again?
Sorry. What sort of Azure security stuff have you been working on?
Well, I have the most expertise in Azure policy, network security, web app security,
Okay.
bit of a Sentinel.
Oh, Sentinel, have you played with that much?
Yep, I played with Sentinel a little bit. It's a very nice tool.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually an amazing tool what they're
Yeah,
doing.
it's very, very cool indeed.
But of course, if you want to work with Sentinel, it's you need to be in a security team.
Yes, yes. You
Which
kind of just, yeah,
yeah,
you kind of just turn it on and play a bit with it. Yeah.
exactly, to be the analyst, incident response, etc., etc. So not my job concretely.
So I always ask people this, but if there's this idea of having a North Star, right? So the North Star is like your biggest goal in life or your biggest goal in your career. What would you say your North Star would be in your career? Where would you like to get to? What would be your ideal like end goal of being the best thing you can imagine?
Honestly, I just became this year MVP. I was just driving to there to show myself that I can do it. The best goal in career would be not to work.
Not to work, to retire early.
Yes, I like honestly having some businesses and like okay, technology nice, I can use it. Do I need to
Yeah,
sit 8 hours every day in front of computer if I don't have to? No,
yeah, yeah. You
thanks.
want to retire to Tenerife and enjoy the sun?
Sure, I'm gonna go to hike every day after work.
Nice. Well, hopefully you get sorted out moving to Tenerife this year, and hopefully you'll pass your interview on Wednesday, and then it'll all be looking good.
Yeah, would be nice. I'm looking forward to have a remote job. It's
Yeah,
a
that
good.
would be good. That would be good. Right, Neil, thanks very much for coming on. I'm just going to play a little video before we go, but thank you for coming on. It was really nice first time I've ever spoken to you, so it was great catching up. Hopefully we'll be in touch a bit more. Let me
Sure,
know how
like
your
thanks,
yeah, let
thanks,
me know how your job goes on Wednesday. Thank you.
definitely.
Right, I'll just play a little video. Later on tonight, in about an hour's time, I'm talking to Shabazz. So Shabazz Dar is an MVP in the UK, and he's moving to Australia. So I'm going to interview him all about that. Right, I'm just going to play a wee video out. Let me just make sure I press the right one.